Hi there, it's Piccia Neri here, one of the Cloudways Mavericks. I'm a UX and UI expert, and you may have seen me also in my Facebook group Design for Geeks, but today I am here to talk to you about something a bit different because we're living in special and extraordinary times. Many of us, actually in fact probably all of us, are now forced to be cooped up at home, and we've gone from having a bustling social and working life outside the home to being forced to be at home. Now, I feel it's a whole different set of challenges and difficult circumstances to adapt to for some of us. Some of us have the big challenge of being in a confined space with lots of other people that don't normally spend that much time together. When it's kids, it's quite difficult, I'm sure. But on the other hand, there's the other side of the coin, which is those of us who are lone wolves and we live on our own, and suddenly we're in the same space just by ourselves all day long. Now, I'm in a good position to give advice about this because I've been working from home by myself for the past 4 years. Even though, of course, normally when I'm able to go out, I have a great social life here and I do a lot of outdoors sports. Well, I can't do that right now, but at least I found myself already perfectly equipped in terms of technical, all sorts of types of setup. So I'm going to give you just quick tips about how to set yourself up. There's going to be a whole series, so look up for it. It's self-isolation survival tips for the lone wolf. So in the first episode of this self-isolation survival tips for the lone wolf series, which is quite a mouthful, we talked about how to set up the best, most comfortable working environment that you can from home. The second tip, and I cannot stress how important this is that you also need to set up a routine. I'm telling you this because I made the mistake, been there, suffered from it, can tell you that it's just not good to think, oh, I'm at home, therefore I've got time to do everything. That way, madness lies. Do not do it. Start more or less at the same time that you would if you were in an office, and have lunch at the same time. Give yourself a stopping time. Try and always do things at the same time. Now, I have to say in all this that I've never been a regular person, never at all. So all this has cost me a while to set up and observe. But I have to say that not doing it is much, much worse than doing it. My rebel side, which has always been quite strong, really resents the set timetable. But I have to do it because if I don't, seriously, that way madness lies. If you're in any way predisposed, or if you've had depression as something that has happened to you, then be really careful, because also in these times, it's not that difficult to be anxious about the state of the world, about the future, about everything. A routine is going to help you greatly. So start in the morning. I have a set of things that I do. I have the kind of, you can call them rituals if you want. I start by journaling, meditating, and then doing yoga, which makes me sound like an insufferable saint. I'm not, believe me, I'm not at all. I often rebel against my own routine and not do my rituals, and then the whole day just suffers from it. So I know now that it's better to do it than not do it. But having said that, for the past 2 weeks, I did not do the morning yoga. I just didn't feel like it. But I did do the rest, and I stuck to the routine, at least to the stuff that you just can't. I mean, you couldn't conceive of not brushing your teeth. It's something that's ingrained in you. Make these set times as important as brushing your teeth, because they are. So start at the same time. Give yourself a stopping time, which is something that we said last time as well. And when you give yourself the stopping time, and just turn everything off. I have to say that giving myself a stopping time is probably the hardest thing, because there's always someone popping up on my screen and going, hey, let's have a chat, or mentioning something that needs my attention. Do not give in to that. Give yourself a stopping time. In fact, It's something that I've never been able to do quite clearly, and I am doing it now. I'm going to talk about that when we talk about exercise. But however, I'm going to do that this week. I'm giving myself a stopping time and I'm going to stick to it. I promise. Then within the routine, get proper breaks. Take a proper lunch hour, because also you need to be healthy. You need to cook yourself a healthy meal, and that needs time. You need an hour. Have a meeting with a friend over Zoom, maybe not, but maybe Skype or something more secure than Zoom, and have it at lunchtime so you can chat to someone, make it an appointment so that you know that you will take time out to eat. Then as regards concentrating on work, I find that really hard. I think I mentioned it last time as well, to the point where I actually wondered in my life at times whether I have mild undiagnosed ADHD. I have found there's one technique that makes it so much easier for me to concentrate, to the point of if I do this, I work. If I don't, I don't. And that's using a Pomodoro timer. I don't know if you've heard of the Pomodoro technique. It's basically just setting a timer of 25 minutes of work, concentrating on one specific task, and then taking a 5-minute break. And the cycle is, I think, of 5 working intervals. I can't remember exactly. And then you get a longer break of 15 minutes. But you don't have, the reason why I don't remember is that I don't have to, because I use a website called marinaratimer.com that does it for me, and you can even set up your own intervals, because sometimes I feel that 25 minutes are not enough, because when I finally get concentrated, and it's amazing how this timer makes me concentrate, finally when I do that, 25 minutes is not as long enough stretch of time. And what I find that also helps me is that I choose a task and I stick to it until it's done, because otherwise, left to my own devices, I'll be flitting about like a crazy butterfly and I won't get things done. So I really recommend this. And also, while you do that, turn everything off, get off all the socials. I have actually, in this current situation, deleted most socials from my phone, and that really helps get all the notifications off and so on. So that's incredibly helpful for me, and just see if it works for you if you have a concentration problem. The other thing that's really important for the routine is to get dressed. That's another temptation. That is the first thing that people who are not used to working from home fall prey to not get dressed, because you can. So why not just stay in your pajamas? Well, no, again, that way madness lies. It just makes you feel sloppy. It makes me feel, at least, I can only speak for myself, obviously, it makes me feel not completely clean. It's just wrong. It can be fun for a few days because it's nice to be a slob. Let's face it, it can be really nice to be a slob. But I think that getting into the habit of wearing clothes is very important. I actually don't wear proper clothes, meaning that I wear gym gear, because also in the hope that I will get up and take some exercise, which sometimes happens, but sometimes it doesn't. But also because part of my morning routine is to do yoga before I get started, then if I'm already wearing gym clothes, there's one less obstacle between me and the yoga mat, because like I said, I am no saint and I find it hard to do. But so I try and make it as easy as possible for myself. The routine that I want to get started this week is that every evening after I stop work, which is why I'm giving myself a clear time, I am going to do a HIIT challenge, so that I take some aerobic exercise, because I'm very good with the yoga but not so good with the aerobic. So that's something that it helps me if I'm already wearing gym gear, because then I don't have an excuse to not do it, because I can't be bothered to put gym clothes on. Another thing that I do is that, of course, we all have meetings but via video, and I've been doing them for 4 years now. So just make yourself nicer for the meeting. Like, look at me, I'm wearing this necklace because I want you to see something bright and cheerful, and it makes me feel happier as well. And I feel a little bit like I've given myself some time, some self-love, some self-care. What I do sometimes when I have an important meeting or when I record something, I make myself look nice on top, but then I'm still wearing my tracksuit bottoms. They're smart and they're always clean. That's very important. However, I then, maybe I look really smart on top, and then maybe I need to get up to get a glass of water and I do the walk of shame because I've forgotten I'm wearing tracksuit bottoms. But I don't think anyone minds that much anymore. But if you wear something a little bit smarter, then you feel like you've made the effort, and it just psychologically is so much better. One thing that I've started doing is I do formal Friday. So it's nice gym gear all week, and then instead of casual Friday, I do formal Friday, and usually on a Friday I will wear nice clothes. Isn't it nice? And also I've taken to having Friday night aperitivo with friends, so it's really nice to join the call and not wearing a hoodie. But a nice hoodie, there's nothing wrong with that. That's something that I think you should consider, because it keeps us feel connected to the real world as well. Also, one thing that you'll notice is that if you're always home and always working from home, your home will get much less tidy than it usually is at an alarming rate. I am not a tidy person at the best of times, and if I work from home, boom, it gets messy so quickly. That's something that, again, I learned on my own. Suffered for it myself. And so have bouts of tidying up. Don't let it go completely to seed, because it's so much harder. And then come the weekend, you really don't want to spend your Saturday morning cleaning up. You just don't want to do that. So try and keep it, decent, because that's also so important for your mental health. And like we said, our mental health at the moment is absolutely essential. I hope this helped again, and I'll see you soon for another self-isolation survival tip for the lone wolf. Bye, stay safe, stay home.